Tammy was just in London, and she said that they only put the heat on in the hotel twice a day, and they had to go and complain a few times because the room was too cold. There's even a gym that they went to that didn't even have the heat on at all because heating prices have tripled from where they are historically. So you can see they're having a tough time in London just as they are here. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average formed a golden cross, which is a good sign typically, but apparently didn't work out too well today, with the markets down significantly today. As of the time of recording this, the markets are still open right now, so this will change. But the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 830 points, S&P down 105 points, that's 2.64%. The NASDAQ down 3.28%. Gold's down $29 an ounce. Bitcoin's down just under 2%. This is from CNN. House of Representatives voted Wednesday to pass a stopgap bill to avert a government shutdown at the end of this week. I told you every single time they're not solving the problem. That's why you keep seeing it again and again and again. But look at all the fumbling around they're doing, all the standing in front of the cameras and talking about what they're going to do to help you. They're not fixing the problem. The house is on fire and they're handing you a TV dinner. Russia warns the United States of unpredictable consequences if it sends Patriot missile systems to Ukraine. This would be a game changer because Russia is seeing this as a war against NATO more than anything. But now you've got joint training exercises in Belarus night and day, driving tanks around everywhere, just like they did before the actual first initial invasion. Belarus is very likely to be drawn into this war, as is Iran. And what that's going to mean is everything that it meant when the war first broke out. There's going to be all sorts of supply chain disruptions and a price premium on oil and gold, a war premium on both. And you're definitely going to want to subscribe so you don't miss this upcoming video we're working on about the billionaire deaths in the wake of the FTX collapse. We'll get more details on this. We'll look into it deeper and we'll tell you all about it in an upcoming video. And my apologies, we didn't use a very good chart when I was trying to show you this the other day. Now that a few days have gone by since then, I can show you a better chart of how Newmont Mining is breaking out of the consolidation period that I told you about. And I really wanted to show you guys how hard we're working for you. How you do anything is how you do everything. Let's take a look at what each video entails. This was the last project. I'm just showing you the post-production that goes into each of these projects that we put together for you. The Department of Justice and SEC charged social media influencers an alleged $100 million stock pump and dump scheme. According to the prosecutors, they generated $100 million in illicit gains. This is no different than the pump and dumps you see in the penny stock market. I talked about this in great detail in Penny Stocks for Dummies. If you're not ripping people off one way, pretending to be a charity for 9/11 survivors, then you're trying with penny stocks. You're using social media and digital currencies to generate a lot of stolen wealth. They're tricking people into buying. It's just like any pump and dump scheme. They're tricking people into buying the worthless asset by pretending it's worth a lot more. It's going to go much higher. And as that happens, they just dump all their shares onto you and they walk away with the profits. Completely illegal. We're seeing it in penny stocks for years, but you're seeing it now in the cryptocurrency markets too. And with the use of all sorts of social media tools. It's just the latest tools we have at our disposal. But when we come up with new things, they'll be using that too. But I'm glad that the SEC is doing something and taking care of this. Really quickly, actually, the SEC is talking about January 2020 when they did most of this scheme. 7 different people are charged with securities fraud using social media platforms. And the defendants allegedly promoted themselves as successful traders, according to the SEC release, and allegedly encouraging followers to buy stocks which they also had already purchased. This happens all the time. You need to know how to avoid this rather than get hurt by it and then try to figure out how to get your money back. That money's gone. Even if the SEC finds them for tens of millions of dollars, that money doesn't typically find its way all the way to the originator, to the person who got tricked by the scheme in the first place. And the Federal Reserve raised rates by 0.5 percentage point, and that takes the rates up to the highest they've been in 15 years. But the big problem is that Jerome Powell indicated that they're going to be keeping the rates higher for a longer period than most anticipated. Speaking of that rate increase, the Federal Reserve's rate hike pushes Main Street loan interest over 10% for the first time in nearly a generation. So if you have a business and you've got any outstanding debt on that, you may be paying 10% just to cover the carrying costs. Everything's going to cost more now. Mortgages too. But if you have a small business, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. It's going to cost you more to run that business than it did previously unless you don't have any debt. Now I want you to listen to this one. Senate banking hearing set to take aim at FTX and cryptocurrency industry. Quote, the largest Ponzi scheme in history. This is from CNBC. What did I tell you from ages ago? The government will do, even when they didn't understand what cryptocurrencies were, they will do what they always do. They will tax and they will regulate. Now they're going to be regulating big time because of all the losses from this whole FTX breakdown. But I also told you that Bitcoin, and all cryptocurrencies for that matter, are a zero-sum game. And it's about the fragmentation. There's too many options, and it's about saturation. If you have money to invest in cryptos, you're mostly fully invested in cryptos. There's not a lot of dry powder on the sidelines that's going to now be making its way into cryptocurrency investing. You guys are going to want to watch this video right here. Based on your browsing habits, the types of stuff that you've been searching for and watching, this is what the algorithm is telling you is the best video for you of any that we've ever put out. So please check it out. You'll really be glad you did.